send the Thunder home. Lillard, long range three.
Beautiful morning. Get a sun,
Back to the sports talk. Like I said last week, it'd be a midweek episode. I currently have COVID actually, so yeah, first time having it. So I'm kind of just quarantined, stuck in my room right now. And then Casey just came back from a football tournament, so we are back and we're gonna grade every pick in the NBA draft, which just happened 6 days ago.
Let's do it.
All right, so we'll start with number 1 pick, obviously, in Paolo Banchero going to the Orlando Magic, first overall out of Duke. I feel like out of these top 3 prospects, you can't really miss. It's 1A, 1B, 1C in any order. So I think anywhere in the top 3, if you're Orlando, OKC, or Houston, you're kind of sitting pretty no matter who you get. So I'll give it an A. For the Magic, I thought Jabari Smith was going to be picked all the way until like 5 minutes before when Woj spoiled on national TV. So, yeah, I'll give it an A.
Yeah, first of all, Woj, I mean, it's so annoying. Like, they need to figure out a way to, like, get those guys to not tweet it out before. And then they all compete to be the first ones to tweet it out. It's like a little race. Just get all those Twitter guys out and let the ESPN be the first ones to tell us.
Yeah.
Because
I
especially
turn off
when
the
Woj
notice.
literally works for ESPN. So I don't understand. It kind of ruins the suspense. Luckily, that's not the case in football as much. But yeah, Pablo Banchero at 1. Everyone thought it was Jabari Smith. Banchero was my number 1 prospect. I like this as an A+. I mean, I really like this pick. Pablo Banchero, I think, is the best player in this draft, and I think he'll fit well with the Orlando Magic. They've failed a few times on big men throughout the last few years with, Mo Bamba wasn't amazing. Jonathan Isaac, I mean, nothing too special. He was a good player, but nothing too special. I think probably
just
Banchero,
injury prone.
yeah, Banchero will finally be a difference maker, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like he's kind of a surefire guy. And then you can go number 2.
Okay, yeah. So number 2, the Thunder went with Chet Holmgren, and a lot of people hated on this pick at first, but I actually like it. I'm gonna give it an A, not an A+, just an A. I think Holmgren's gonna fit really well with Oklahoma. He's a very different player than we've seen. Obviously, the 7'6" wingspan and the skinny, the elephant in the room, how skinny he is. However, I think he's gonna be a good player. Reminds me of KD a lot when he was drafted. He can shoot threes. He actually has handles for his size, and he can play in. So I like Holmgren. Just get him on a little meal plan Oklahoma needs to do, and I think he'll be just fine in Oklahoma. Good pick.
Yeah, I got an A-. I think he's kind of my 1C out of these 3 kind of guys, or these 3 guys. I think it's not a bad selection. I think I like what OKC is doing. They're getting they have a lot of picks, right? And they're spending them on guys who have tons of upside. And if it works out, Sam Presti's a genius. I mean, he's already done crazy things with the amount of draft picks he's gotten. I think, yeah, Chet Holmgren's just a risky pick in the fact that doesn't have an NBA body. But we've seen guys come to the league like Kevin Durant and Giannis who are thin as a board and then fill out. Like you see Giannis is a beast now.
Yeah, Giannis was so sweet. And even like the dunk contest he was in 2014, if you look back at the recap of that, he was very skinny, and Milwaukee did a great job of getting him big. I think Chet could do it as well. I mean, it's not even Chet's fault. A lot of people blame him. A lot of guys just develop later, and it's really hard to gain weight. I mean, it's tough.
Chet would gain weight if he could.
Sure, he eats a lot.
I think the NBA he'll fill out a little more. So I'll give it A-, but I think he has potential to be maybe the best player in this draft class. And then 3, Jabari Smith, I give this an A as well. He kind of, it's another, again, you can't really go wrong here. And they get the guy who's projected to be number 1 for a while to fall into their laps at 3. So the Rockets were just sitting pretty. I mean, they would take whoever was not taken out of the top 3 guys. So A, they did what they needed to do.
Yeah, I got this in A+. I mean, there's the big 3, I think, this year. It was a really strong draft class, actually. And I think there's the big 3, and a lot of teams, I think, had Jabari Smith as their one of the big 3. So the fact that the Rockets were able to get their guy, that I heard that their one was Jabari Smith. They were able to get him at 3. It's a huge deal for them. Jabari Smith, also a one-and-done freshman from Auburn. Great on the boards. great size. I think he'll be really solid for the Rockets. And the Rockets, just a solid pick for them after they picked a guard last year. They're building a really strong young core, and they're doing a great job rebuilding after that team with James Harden, fell off. Jalen Green and Jabari Smith is going to be a dynamic duo in future, in my opinion.
Yeah, they are. All right.
So then at 4, we had our big surprise so far. We had Keegan Murray.
It always happens at 4 too.
Yeah, Keegan Murray, the Iowa forward. Everyone thought this would be Jaden Ivey, but Keegan Murray from Iowa went. I didn't hate it. I have it at a B-. It wasn't as bad as a lot of people made it seem, but I just think that Jaden Ivey would have been a better pick. And the Sacramento Kings always seem to be surprising people, to say the least. It took Marvin Bagley over Luka Doncic and, Trae Young. It's just interesting. But I think this is a good pick because I think the ceiling for Keegan Murray is really high. A lot of people don't seem to see that. I think the ceiling for Murray is higher than Ivy. I just think Ivy's was a safer pick and better right now.
Yeah, actually I have it the same as a B-. I think it's a lose-lose selecting here for the Kings. You either take Jaden Ivey and make that backcourt even more crowded. And you just drafted a guard 2 years ago in Tyrese Halliburton. You drafted one last year.
But they already traded.
In Davion Mitchell. And then you drafted De'Aaron Fox in 2017. You're getting you already traded one away in Tyrese Halliburton, who was, your future. So here it's a no-brainer to move back just one spot with Detroit. They're going to take Jaden Ivey at 4. You move back 1, you still get Keegan Murray, and you get future assets, maybe like a second-round pick. Maybe
Sacramento doesn't seem to think like that.
I'm not an NBA GM, but that seemed like a no-brainer move to me. But they take Keegan Murray, and Keegan Murray, I think, he's one of the oldest players in the draft class, and he's one of the oldest we've ever seen picked at a top 5. And so I think Sac want to make a play-in push or playoff push maybe. So they wanted a guy they can just put in right now, and who kind of like a guy who knows what he's doing and not a young rookie. But at the same time, Jaden Ivey is right there, and Jaden Ivey's a generational talent. So I don't love the pick, but I also think Keegan Murray's going to be a great player, and people are kind of giving Keegan Murray shade for no reason when Keegan Murray's a stud. So
agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my take on that. Pistons A+, Jaden Ivey. You get the 4th best player in the draft, default 5. And if it's any other draft, he might not be the 4th best. He might be 2nd or 3rd or even 1st. So yeah, he's a great player. Strong. I know you hear it all the time, but strong John Morant vibes. Needs to develop a jump shot, but it's a slam dunk. Him and Cade Cunningham are going to be one of the best backcourt duos for a long time.
Yeah, I completely agree. I got an A. I think he's the most athletic player in this draft too. And they got an insane backcourt right now. He also fills the need of, Cade Cunningham. Some people say his one weakness is, his ability his athleticism or his ability to kind of like get up and down the court, run and jump. I think that Jaden Ivey fills that. And I think Cunningham's the better defender, but Ivey is going to fill the needs that Cunningham did not fill. They're going to be a really good 1-2 punch. Great pick by Detroit, and it felt him. They liked him more than Keegan, so it's perfect for them. Definitely an A.
Exactly.
Then at 6, we had Benedict Mathurin, the Arizona guard. He went to Indiana, and a lot of people don't like Benedict, but I actually have this at a B+. I think Mathurin's better than the average. Oliver doesn't seem to like that.
No, I do. We have the same grade again, so I was like,
I see. Okay, B+, yeah, for Benedict Mathurin. I actually like this pick. I mean, I watched Mathurin. I think he has a dog mentality in him. He has a personality that not a lot of NBA player has. That is just a complete, just like a fight. If you go to one of his Instagram posts, one of his first ones actually from like 2017, he had a picture of Adam Silver, and he said the caption was, "I told him I'll see him in a few years," and he got drafted and saw him in a few years. He just has that dog mentality. He was a baller. Remember that March Madness game he had versus TCU? He hit a clutch shot. So yeah, I like this pick. B+, upside swing, and high ceiling once again.
Yep. I also had a B plus, and yeah, it's just a good pick, and I like what the Pacers are doing. They seem like they're taking a lot of young. They're rebuilding finally, is what they needed to do for a few years. So next thing they need to do is kind of get Brogdon's contract out there, Miles Turner contract out there, and fully go for it. And I think they have a nice young core to build around now. And I like this pick. I mean, after these top 5 guys, it kind of falls off a little bit, but I think they did the best that they could here. And yeah, I got a B plus. And then we got back-to-back Canadians. Shaden Sharp goes number 7 to the Blazers. I have it as a B. I think Shaden Sharp is a smooth, great player, was so good in high school, but he just hasn't played in a year and is a little risky, I think. He graduated early from high school to go to Kentucky for this spring semester, but they didn't play, but then was still eligible, even though he's technically should be graduating high school just now.
Yeah.
So he's a young guy, and I think he'll be good. It's just I think I don't know. I just think he's just young and he's inexperienced, but he's really talented. So I got it as a B.
Yeah, I have this as an F. I mean, he was the number 1 recruit out of high school. 6'6", has a 7-foot wingspan, obviously unreal talent. However, this is a ridiculous pick, in my opinion. It's a complete leap. I mean, first of all, this reminds me of Harry Giles when he was drafted out of Duke. That guy didn't play at all, didn't do much in the NBA. I mean, I just don't trust picking a guy that has 0 college experience to go into Portland and be a difference maker right away when you have guys on the board like Jalen Williams, Dyson Daniels, and, guys like Johnny Davis, an experienced guy that can impact your team right away. I think this is an awful pick in my opinion. I'm sure Shaden Sharp will eventually find his way into the NBA, and he's a good player, don't get me wrong, but it was just the wrong pick for the Trailblazers, and I do not trust it again. I don't see a ceiling like I do for other guys like Mathurin and Ivy as well. With Sharp, I mean, he didn't play at Kentucky at all. I don't understand how that's not worrisome to the Trailblazers. I understand he was good in high school, but high school to the NBA is such a complete difference. I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. At 8, we have the New Orleans Pelicans taking Dyson Daniels, a G League player. It's different than the old days. We now have G League players, coming in. It used to be you either went to college or kind of like an international player, but now many American high schoolers are choosing to go the G League route, which I think is a very interesting path. So he was from League Ignite. You saw him play, I believe, right?
I did, yeah. I saw him play in person. He's a good player. I mean, I saw the passing was on display, the defense was on display, big lanky guard. Needs to work on the offensive game, but if that comes together, he's a complete package.
Yeah, I think this is a solid pick for the Pelicans. I like it at a B+ because I think he's a do-it-all guy. Maybe a little risky to the, I don't know. I like it. Question for you: what do you think is a higher competition, college or G League?
I think it's tough because G League, you're playing against grown men and they're fighting for a spot in the NBA. So they're like.
Yeah. So Ignite's an actual G League team playing against like the Santa Cruz Warriors?
Yeah, they play like a normal G League schedule.
That may be higher than college, actually.
I'd say it's a bit higher, but not I don't know.
Doesn't have the same fight, like the passion though as college, because you're not playing school.
It's a little more boring.
Going to the games either,
yeah. Yeah, so I think when you pick someone in the G League, they are fine competition-wise. Dyson Daniels, I'll give an A-. I think I feel like his floor is like Alonzo Ball. And then his ceiling is kind of like, I don't know, but if he can develop a jump shot, he's crafty around the rim. But he's one of the best perimeter defenders in the draft and very skilled passer. I mean, he really impressed me. I don't think he even scored a point in the game I saw, but you could tell his impact on the game. So I was impressed by him and Jaden Hardy. I was super impressed by him. And he went way later. So yeah.
Yeah.
And then Spurs at 9 drafted Jeremy Sohan from Baylor. I'm a little indifferent about this pick. I liked what the Spurs did. They grabbed the best defender in the draft, Jeremy Sohan. Kind of Draymond Green vibes, just pesty. Again, not much of an offensive game, but it just does all the right things. I really don't like what the Spurs did today, though, and traded DeJounte Murray. I thought they were kind of going for, like, that's part of your young core, which you're trying to rebuild around, and you trade him away. Didn't make much sense to me. I don't really know which route they're going right now. Great move for Atlanta, though. Jeremy Sohan, I'll give a B plus. I'm just kind of indifferent about it. I think it's fine.
Yeah, I have this at a C, but and a lot of it has to do with biases from what happened today with the Spurs. Because now knowing that they traded DeJounte Murray, I don't know if this guy's your key piece to the future. You know, your franchise player. That was DeJounte, and Socon is a really good defensive player, as you said, reminds me of Draymond Green, but he really struggles offensively, especially shooting from the 3-point and free throw line. So I don't know if this guy's going to be amazing. However, I think he will be a solid player in the NBA. Good player. Just, I don't know about the Spurs, what they did today and taking that guy, especially if they knew what they were going to do to DeJounte Murray a week later.
Yeah, right.
At 10, we got Washington Wizards taking Johnny Davis. I like this pick. I have it at an A-. You know, Johnny Davis is one of the most interesting players this draft. You know, he's in all those Taco Bell commercials. And he also had a solid year for Wisconsin as a sophomore, averaged 20 points, really good shooter. If Bradley Beal's into his thing with Washington, they're going to be a really good complementary duo. So I like this pick. I like it as an A.
Yeah, I like it as an A. Johnny Davis is a top 10 guy, and he fell to you right at 10. So I think Wizards did what they needed to do, and they got a great scorer, guy who potentially could be Bradley Beal's replacement if Bradley Beal chooses to leave, which he might. But my prediction for Bradley Beal is that he resigns on a max contract. I think it's just a little too loyal to. I feel like he's not even loyal. He just like wants to prove to people that he is or something. But because I don't know why he's still in Washington. But he is, so I'll give it an A.
Yeah.
And then next draft Ousmane Dieng, trade him to OKC right after. So for OKC, we're grading this. I'll give it a B. I didn't watch that much on Ousmane Dieng, but he was solid in the NBL for the Breakers, and a lot of talent came from there this year. And I just like what Sam Presti's doing, kind of just taking a bunch of high upside guys.
Yeah, I really wasn't too sure about this pick. You know, it's from the New Zealand Breakers. And the Thunder got like another pick as they've had tons this draft and in the future. But yeah, not sure about that high ability guy, as Oliver said. I got it as a B-. I think it was the worst of the Thunder pick in the first round, but that's not saying that much because they had a really good first round.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so after
Good
that,
boy.
number 12, we have Jalen Williams, a guard or a shooting guard, small forward from Santa Clara University. In person, I have this at an F. I mean, I've never even heard of him. Just kidding. Jalen Williams, hometown guy, great guy. I know him. Honestly, I mean, I know a lot of people think this is biased, but I really do like this at an A. I mean, I think Jalen Williams is one of the most surprising, underrated guys in this draft. Immediately at the start of the season, I knew, and other Santa Clara fans knew, that this guy was going to be an NBA guy one day. But I thought maybe second round. And throughout the season, his stock just kept going up due to the fact that he was so small. Freshman year, and he just grew so much, and he has this unreal 7'2" wingspan as a guard, and he's able to make so many plays with passing, and he's an excellent defender as well and can rebound the ball. Super good player. Only downside for Jalen Williams, I would say, is his ability to shoot outside. Struggles a little bit sometimes. However, I do like this pick. I know a lot of people think it's a risk, but I think it's a solid pick at 12, especially after having 3 picks in the lottery for the Thunder. I mean, might as well take a gamble with Jalen Williams, and I think it will end up being a really, really good pick.
Yeah, I like this pick. I'll have a A-. super high riser going up draft boards, like you said. Was projected second round guy. I feel like at the beginning of the draft process, made his way all the way at 12 for the Thunder. So Thunder get back-to-back picks. And I think, yeah, Jalen Williams, great pick, a nice wing to add.
Yeah.
I think they were kind of lacking at wing a little bit. So I think that's a good pick. I mean, that's all I got to say.
And a lot of people say like his problem is his competition that he faced. However, his competition actually, Gonzaga is an excellent team, number one all year. So why aren't you saying that for Chet Holmgren? BYU, St. Mary's, all and USF, all really good teams. So WCC was a really good conference this year. It's actually not that bad.
Super good. Yeah, I don't understand that either. 13 Hornets draft Jalen Duren and then trade him to Detroit. Hornets, man, what are you doing? You had your center, man. I understand you draft Mark Williams a few picks later, but Jalen Duren's better than Mark Williams. You had Jalen Duren. Great for Detroit though. That's an A+ for Detroit. You get the best pure center in the draft at 13, and you don't really have to give much up for it. I feel like I think a few seconds you had to give up for it. And you take on Kemba Walker's contract, but then he's buying out the contract or something. He's testing free agency, so you don't have to take on Kemba. So
You're
win-win for
Jalen
Detroit.
Duren over Mark Williams guy.
I am Duren over Mark Williams. So I think you got like a little bit worse version of Jalen Duren and Mark Williams, but it's not terrible for Charlotte. Not terrible as many people are making it, but we're talking about the Detroit here. So Detroit, you nailed it. A+.
Yeah, I like this at a A-. I think this is a really solid pick as well. An unreal shot blocker, lob passer, finisher up. It kind of reminds me of, Rob Williams on the Celtics. Like, it's just a guy that can play. And I agree with you. I think a lot of people like Mark Williams because, Duke is a very flashy school. However, Penny Hardaway did a great job at Memphis. They almost beat Gonzaga in March Madness last year. So good team. And yeah. And to wrap up the lottery, the Cleveland Cavs took Ochai Agbaji, the Kansas star who won the national championship for them. And I was shocked by the response to this. I mean, a website I was looking at before this has it at a C-, just because, it was shocking to me. What they said is, besides his 3, he basically has nothing to offer, just has defense and balance at his disposal. But, to me, I think Agbaji is actually a really solid player, and I think he's a good playmaker as well, besides shooting threes. And in this day and age in the NBA, 3-point shots, even if that's all you got, is very valuable for teams. So I like this at an A-. I think it's a good pick to end up and a solid pick for the Cavs, who have a lot right now, a really good young team.
I think he's a perfect selection for the Cavs. I have it as an A, because you obviously know they have the big man of Jared Allen, Evan Mobley of the future. You have your point guards or your guards, and Sexton, he might leave, but you have Garland. And you get a nice wing to add to that, which is kind of what you're lacking. 3-and-D guy, like you just mentioned, shot 41% from 3. His last year of college, I believe he's a 4-year guy. So he has experience. He's he's an older rookie. Lights out shooter, and he's athletic too. I mean, I don't understand what there's not to like about Ochai Agbaji. I love the guy. So I think it's a great pick by the Cavs. I think it's a home run selection. So that kind of wraps up the lottery. We won't do all the picks, obviously, but maybe we can just give some steals from the second round now, or the first round, late first, if you want to.
Yeah, a few first round ones I really liked was Dalen Terry to Chicago. I think that was a solid pick. I know a lot of people don't like that, but I think Dalen Terry's a good defensive guard, which is necessary. Jake LaRavia from Wake Forest, I watched. I'm impressed with him. And then Christian Braun, I'm not sure about, but it's a risky pick in the first round. He was in the bleachers, but I mean, he's a solid player. Oliver, any first round picks that were not lottery that you really liked?
I liked Jake LaRavia, like you said. I also like David Roddy, so that's 2 Memphis picks. Nikola Jovic, I feel like he was kind of sliding just because his name, maybe. I don't know. Like I feel like people just don't want to deal with having someone that's similar in name as Jokic. I think Nikola Jovic could be like a great player. I think he's 6'10" and he shoots the lights out. And he's pretty athletic for his size too. He's Serbian, and I mean talent has been produced overseas at an insane rate. So I think he'll be a good player. So that's a good pickup for the Heat. In second round, I was on the Bryson McGowan's hype train. He went to Charlotte. I think that's a good pick at 40. Jaden Hardy to Dallas at 37. Great pick. You might call it bias, but I was going to say it anyway. Ryan Rollins to Golden State. I mean, it gives me strong Jordan Poole vibes. And it was found out today, though, he has a stress fracture in his foot. So he's not playing Summer League, and he might miss a good part of the season. So that sucks for him and for the Warriors. And I like, what else do I like? I like EJ Liddell falling to 41 too. That was a good pickup for the Pels. You got anything?
No, but I will say some busts. I don't believe that much in is Ty Washington from Kentucky. I'm just not really a fan of him. And Blake Wesley, I'm a big fan of too, but I don't want to shout him out. But yeah, that's some NBA draft talk. Oliver, any busts real quick? I mean, you probably would have said it already if it's a lottery.
Max Christie, 35, the Lakers. Dude was such a brick at Michigan State. And the Lakers traded up to get him, or traded into the second round. Trevor Keels, I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah, he didn't do much at Duke.
Yeah. And I was a big fan of him for a long time, Kenny Chandler, but I feel like he's going to be nothing more than just a backup point guard, which is fine, but
yeah.
And he went in the second round, so it's fine. I feel like he's going to be a Tyus Jones kind of guy. So, yeah.
All right, so there's some NBA draft talk. Tell us who you think, if you agree, disagree, and
Let us know.
Draft. All right, so Wimbledon has started. Half of them made it to the third round. Some are still playing in the second, and some surprises so far. Shout out John Isner. He beat Andy Murray today, and on center court. You know, John Isner said it was amazing for him just to be back on center court because it's pretty cool for a 37, and he won. So John Isner into the third round. If you go up, Djokovic is into the third round. No surprise there. Big win. Nadal's in the second. He'll play to get to the third tomorrow. Some upsets. Riley Opelka lost the 15 to the wild card from Netherlands, who's on fire right now. But also the biggest upset so far, Oliver, keep scrolling, please, is Herbert Alcaraz, by the way, into the third round. Oh, go up. Sorry. The 3 seed today, Casper Ruud lost. Go up one more. Yeah, there you go. Sorry. Casper Ruud lost. Humbert from France. So that was a bad loss for him. But at the end of the day, Casper Ruud is not good on grass at all. Not his surface. His main surface is clay. So I doubt he even cares that much. Yeah. But then TFO also won the American. But yeah. So that's a little Wimbledon update for y'all. Cam Norrie, the best British guy, made it the third. Tomorrow Nadal will play to make it to the third round.
And
Taylor Fritz, the highest ranked American, plays tomorrow to make it to the third round. So hopefully he can make it. Right now,
I like German
pretty well. Yeah.
The Giants suck. We're 3-7 in the last 10, and we played series against one game in that last 10. That's 1 game against the Pirates, 4 against the Braves. Understandable, right? 3 against the Reds, 2 against the Tigers. We split the Tigers. Lost the series against the Reds. Like, dude.
Yeah,
this team might not make the playoffs. It's starting to sink in a little bit. Not even the All-Star break. No reason to panic. We're still 6 games above 500. This team's getting me a little frustrated. Just the amount of runs scored.
The pitching
seems like age is kind of catching up. Longo's on fire though. Shout out Longo. Shout out Picks and Pulls. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Yep. See you next week.
Peace.
And goodbye.
Yep.